Tanshi. My name is Crystal Charlotte Easton. I'm a Métis artist living and working here in Coast Salish territory, Nanaimo, Vancouver Island. I am a mother of 3 and I'm raising 6, a Brady Bunch family with my wonderful partner who is also Cree. And we are doing this on a small urban farm here in our community, and we're raising chickens, dogs, gardens, and I am deeply blessed to be able to support my life and my lifestyle using my art to serve my communities. So today I am going to be describing to you the process that I used to create a recent painting that I titled The Healing Power of Story. This is the second painting that I produced while in attendance with Jane Middleton Mose, speaking on trauma in Indigenous communities. Here I am in reflection. The very first phase of a painting is to stop and to think and to listen and to pray and really to welcome whatever it is that wants to come through. I never plan my paintings. I work from the heart to create an image that heals or to support someone in their healing. That was the intention of the painting, and that gets infused right into the water that I use, the paint. Right away, Jane Middleton Mose starts to describe, the mental processes that occur inside of people who have post-traumatic stress disorder or a PTSD or trauma, past trauma. And so right away I started to listen and feel and create using that information that she was giving us about what it is that a human being goes through when they have layers of trauma. And our Indigenous communities, of course, are dealing usually with multiple traumas. There's the trauma on a community level, the trauma of colonization and assaults on the culture, and then there's also the individual traumas of trying to incorporate a foreign culture into an Indigenous life, and also, of course, the the pain and the legacy of residential school. And so, the work begins with identifying what you're dealing with. And so I created an image in the corner to represent the traumas that started to trickle out of the participants, because Jane Middleton Mose's presentation is participatory. You are expected to dig around inside of your own brain and identify things that you have to work on, because healers need to heal themselves as well. You can see that the person's face has started to form here, and the spirits that are surrounding that person, those are references to the people living and on the other side who support us in our healing work. And right away I needed to create a container for the trauma, a place for the the pain to land and to be contained and to bypass the individual to go through. So these words, those are words referring to colonization. So it says, until they don't know themselves, until they hold their own relations down, until they can't remember, until they fear responsibility, until they won't lead, until there is not one left in the body politic of Canada, until they loathe their own. So these are the objectives of colonization, to continue until. And it's worth mentioning that the writer of the Indian Act used those very words. That's why I included them on the bowl of colonization. He actually wrote the Indian Act. Duncan Campbell Scott wrote the Indian Act, did say that the purpose of it was to continue until there was not one left in the body politic of Canada. And his machinations are still at work in our communities. So then the image starts to get some more color, and I wanted to bring in the land and the water, obviously, because these are the very things that heal us as Indigenous people. And when I put the mountains right through the person's face, it became abundantly clear to me then that I was painting a male, and that I was thinking about all the warrior brothers who are dealing with addiction and suffering, and the pain that the Indigenous masculine has to go through, which is kind of an interesting correlation to the feathers that I chose to bring along with me that morning. Those are hawk feathers, and hawk is considered, I am told, to carry warrior medicine. So I brought in feathers as Jane was describing the needs of a traumatized person: safety, attunement, nurturing, touch, emotional knowledge. And the bowl, the funnel that I created, it says at the bottom in the same white paint, we can contain this together. So then I gave the person a heart, and I nestled it inside of a nest of feathers. And the feathers are, they describe Indigenous values: truth, vulnerability, attention, acceptance. Another one says generosity. You can't see it in this photo. And then I brought in stars. So I wanted to bring in the individual's origination, your origin, your true origin, which is, that, you can make that whatever you like. You come from God, you come from the Creator, you come from stars. And this is how I described, the flow of a life, descending from the sky, wrapping around your community, and you experience trauma, and you flow. You flow no matter what. And the hands really started to bother me then, at this stage. That was pretty much the end of the day. So I left, kind of stumped, and the following day, I woke up with an idea about, what I wanted to show and to describe. So I had a beautiful friend, an elder, Michael, hold a sash for me. And so I gave the painting 2 hands and a sash to hold, and this would later become his story. So I created small symbols to run the length of the sash, and these were symbols that Jane Middleton Mose had described as ways to reach an individual's structures, internal structures. So, for instance, you can use chess pieces to describe a family and what you went through. You could write a story, and we witnessed several stories. One included a clam. Another one included a story of a bird, an eagle. Jane Middleton had shared a story about a man who described his life using blocks. She emphasizes repeatedly that you can tell how much healing a person has done, how much work they have done on their own trauma, by their ability to be able to tell it, by their ability to tell their own story. What happened to them? How they operated under those conditions, how they worked to change the way they operated, and where they are now. And you can see in the being's left hand at I suppose toward the end of the story, there's a being there representing balance. And I think that's the goal. I think that it's potent and beautiful that this warrior spirit person is holding up his own story, and he's not holding it up on a 2x4 or painted on a placard. It's a delicate piece of the veil, and I think that the image of it being a soft and delicate fabric is symbolic of the vulnerability and softness that it requires to recognize and to be recognized for how much healing work you have done. This quote here, "The connection is the correction." I just love that. I love Jane Middleton's core proposal is that it's relationships that heal in beings and prevent and heal trauma. So I had to include that right there on his shoulder, like he's being blanketed with the healing waterfall. And there's my signature. Then finally, I brought in the black. Black is, for me, in my visual language, black is the presence of the Creator. Black is the presence of the universal life force that we all come from and that we all return to. And so I wanted to have black, present and creating structure and depth for the entire painting. And so I brought that in, and I actually had to take it home and put it in because I had run out of time this time. Usually I finish them on time, but this painting in particular, because it was my second time to visit and listen to Jane Middleton Mose, I was able to challenge myself and create an image that might be a little more complex than my usual work. So this was the result, and I'm very happy, and I truly hope that Sultan Laylam and the beloved people who are there, I hope that they enjoy it for a really long time. And that's pretty much it. So this painting will live at South Laleham now and serve the staff and the clients that are in there actively healing each other and themselves. I'm deeply honored to be able to share and thankful to Sultan Laleham and to Jane Middleton Mose for being such an inspiration and a powerful influencer in the world of healing. I'll raise my hand. Masi.